open up and down.
Good afternoon and welcome to Trade Talks. I'm your host, Jill Malandrino, Global Markets Reporter at Nasdaq. Joining me at MarketSite is my partner in crime from the weekly Markets Review. It's Chris Dearborn, Managing Director on Nasdaq's Markets Intelligence Desk. Chris, thank you as always for joining me. This is my favorite part of the week because I know we wind down once 2 o'clock hits, but let's get right into it.
Absolutely.
Kicked off earnings season with the banks this morning.
We did.
They beat on estimates for the most part, but they kind of been selling off for the remainder of the day.
The large diversified banks, we had 3 of them come out this morning. They beat on top, some of them beat on bottom, but the real thing that was the kicker, it was kind of like a sell the news type of event. Wells Fargo mentioned that they may be seeing a significant fine from the government coming here that kind of put a cramp in the sector. So we opened higher, but then sold off on that news.
Right. I like it that you're seeing trading revenue. Investment back into the trading desk. That's something that we have not seen for quite some time. But let's also look at the energy sector. That's been lending to some strength.
We really have. So what you've seen is oil has really seen an uptick over the last week, and that's going to drive the market in that space a little bit. You've seen almost a 9% increase in the price of the forward contract from over the course of the week. I mean, that's significant. We're trading north of $67 on the barrel. You're up over almost 12% for the year there. That is absolutely going to drive price in the stock. And then you're coming into the summer driving season, so you're going to see upticks in there too. They're going along with the refineries coming off of the drillers.
All right, let's talk about Friday the 13th, overall trading action. We actually opened up pretty good.
We did.
It looked like we were going to have a strong open. The futures were high, and we were pretty good up until about 10 o'clock if you were on the long side anyway, and it did kind of like a quiet sell-off throughout the rest of the day.
Really did. We opened positively, like you said. We've pulled a Friday the 13th and given back the gains from this morning. We're looking like we're trying to go positive here now today. It's kind of been a little bit of a seesaw session, but volumes have been a little light too. So
right.
the whole week volumes have been kind of light. And I wouldn't say returning to normal, but really people just taking a breath. There's been a lot of macro news all week. You've had a lot of eyes on what's been going down in Capitol Hill with Facebook being, the CEO there gave 2 days of testaments for 10 hours, total of 10 hours, to both the House and the Senate, both sides of the aisle, and the stock reacted positively for the most part on top of that. So what you had there was really people were focused in on other items other than the trading of the stocks. And what you've seen really is a lighter session day over day throughout the week. The only day we topped over 7 billion was Tuesday when the market sold off.
Right.
Every Monday, yesterday, and Wednesday, we had lighter volumes where the markets picked up. That's kind of how the market's been doing recently. And you go back over the last 15, 16 months, we've had up days on lighter volume, but you've had consistent up days. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 up days in a row, 6 out of 8 sessions. And I think that's what we're going to see here until we come into earnings.
Well, and that's the whole thing too, like the 2, 3, 4 week vacuum of news with the exception of macro headlines, right? Or specific one-off on stocks like you had mentioned before with Facebook. But let's take a look at the trading week ahead because we really are going to come into the thick of earnings. Not even that, we have retail sales on Monday. I want to spend some time on that. You also have 5 Fed speakers on their circuit. That's going to move some headlines also.
Right, so let's address the Fed headlines first. So you had the minutes released last week finally, and traders were looking for any nuggets of what Powell's thinking on inflation or if there's any conversation going on about the macro headlines coming out of DC. They took it as a whole, and it looks like we're moving on to the next meeting, which will be the first week of May. The Fed speakers are going to hit the circuit next week. Kashkari was speaking yesterday, so we'll see what they have to say, and if anything varies from what was in the minutes to what they're looking to project. But on the retail sales, which is, I think, very interesting, it's Monday morning. We get to find out what that is at 8:30 in the morning, and retail sales have really ticked down for the last 3 months, 1/10 of a point, month over month, going back, and you've had really a weather-related March, right? So a lot of those spring items, especially here in the Northeast, didn't really get a chance to come out. And what you're looking at there is, did that impact the sales? So we need to see that. We need to know how March did. We need to know if it's an uptick or a downtick. And we need to know what they were buying. Because remember, consumers...
I remember 2 years ago when Christmas, it was 60 degrees outside and they got slammed for December sales because there was just no movement in inventory.
No, absolutely. So we need to see what that is. Remember, retail sales are a look into U.S. GDP, right? So if 2/3 of consumer spend relates directly to the GDP, and if the gross domestic product is, we're looking for a stronger number, and retail sales light, that's going to be revised. So it could have far-reaching impact more so than just, oh, it's just a retail number for the month of April, for the month of March.
Right.
Much more impact in there. So it's really kind of a crucial number. And we're going to be kind of macro light next week anyway on item. You have housing, the NBA numbers on Wednesday. You've got unemployment numbers every Thursday. So it's really kind of a macro light item because you're really coming into earnings.
Right.
And that's really going to be the kicker here. How can earnings move the market? And they absolutely can.
All right. Well, thank you very much for joining me as always. And thank you for joining me throughout the week. I'm Jill Malandrino, Global Markets Reporter at Nasdaq.